All right, let's talk a little bit more about system one and how we can leverage it. We really want to focus in this time around how we consume information, how we should package information so that it is most readily accepted by consumers. Now, remember, we don't like new information. We don't like data. We're bombarded with it. The brain is not attuned to storing it or using it. And so we develop these heuristics to help us process this information, decide what's important, what do I need to keep, and what do I need to pass along. Now, there are a lot of lessons on how to do this well. We've covered some of those, keeping it simple, bake them into stories, convey it emotionally, and not oversell. Because the tendency for marketers is to want to put everything into every spot. Oh, we've got these 15 messaging points, we've got to get them all across. And that is a terrible idea, because what will happen is we don't store any of them. And so let's take a look at some examples of where people have baked in lots of information with simplicity, as well as some folks that tried to put in too much and then saw some failures.
And we're bombarded with over 8,000 advertising messages a day, all of them screaming out for our attention. So it's no surprise that those companies who have learned to adapt and communicate clearly and simply are the ones that have thrived. One such example is this company here, and boy, they've learned a lot over the years. If you haven't worked it out already, this company is Apple, and this is their original logo, and ouch. There's a lot going on here. I think that's Isaac Newton sitting underneath an apple tree. He's got his quill out, he's writing in his notebook, and there's an apple just dangling above his head, just about to fall. Then we've got some text around the edges, and then we've got like flourishes and crests. Wow, the designer really went to town on this one. But then if you compare that to what they have now, it's really simple, it's really graphic and really iconic. It conveys a lot of information in a really brief amount of time. In fact, I'm sure we didn't even have to pop this logo up, as I'm sure you could automatically already picture it in your head. And I suppose that's the Steve Jobs effect in full swing. And this kind of thinking, you know, that Apple has, you know, carries on through into their advertising communications. They keep things really nice and simple. Like, for example, when they launch a new product, they could be tempted to fill this advert with lots of information, telling them how good the camera is, how good this is and that. But instead, they make a commercial that really appeals to this system one decision making. Now let's take a look. You can see it was a really simple piece of communication. Let's just have a look and break it down here. Right from the start, they show what the product is. Then they build this anticipation throughout, showing beautiful shots of the product being unboxed. Using this kind of AMSR, it really stimulates the senses and creates a strong kind of almost primal craving for us for the product. Then they cap it off with this one simple tagline. And I hold it's very effective in the way that we process information. Now I want to take this and then compare and contrast it to another company that launched a product. This is Quibi, and they had a big launch during the Super Bowl, and there's a lot of information in this. I hope you're sitting down because there's a lot to take in. Just sit back and prepare to have your brain explode.
Where's the car? Greg, where are you?
I'll be there in a Quibi.
A what?
A Quibi. Less than 10 minutes.
Next time you got fun. Next time you got fun.
Quick bites, big stories. Quibi.
You what? Okay, well, first it starts off with these people in these masks and, oh, it's a bank robbery. Then hang on a minute, where's that getaway driver? And then he says, I'll be here in a Quibi, which apparently is 10 minutes. And then they're introducing this new show that's going to be on Quibi. We don't really know what that is. And then there's 2 taglines. And then to top it off, there's finally 3 more pieces of information. Watching this commercial made me feel like I was sitting some kind of like torturous memory exam. I think it's no surprise that despite a humongous amount of money being spent at the Super Bowl and the Academy Awards and elsewhere, it flopped really badly. Nobody could even remember the name or what it was for. And now 70% of the people asked think Quibi is in fact a food delivery service. Way too much information.
So simplifying information, not putting everything in is smart in terms of how we process information, but it also has to do with how likely we are to accept that information. There's a concept called confirmation bias, where we look to reinforce things that we already think we know. So what happens is people look for information that they don't like. So you may list 10 things and they love 9 of them, but they'll focus on the one they don't like and argue against it. Oh, I'm not interested in a lot of extra memory. I've got plenty now. I never use it. We're storing to the cloud. I don't need that upgrade, even though you gave me 9 other reasons. And it's yet another reason to be very wary of trying to jam in lots of sub-messages within a spot. It is very counterintuitive to how System 1 processes information. And we see this because lots of people want to jam in everything, including the executives across the country. So what you're trying to do is become the intuitive choice, the thing that System 1 says, hey, do this. And that isn't always a rational exercise. It's not about laying out smart argumentation. It's about psychologically powerful concepts delivered in emotionally resonating ways.
This video is from our webinar series. So if you want to check out more from our webinars and more insights of how we apply psychology to marketing, then go on over to intermarkgroup.com/webinar. Thanks for checking this out.